when I'm in a jumping over the lazy dog competition and my opponent is the quick brown fox. This is genuinely the type of thing that keeps me up at night. If you guys don't know, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog is like the go-to sentence that every font uses to show you what every letter in that font looks like as a preview before you install it. I genuinely shudder in fear at the guy who thought of that sentence or how he felt when he was tasked with thinking of the sentence. You have to be in a really specific state of mind to complete that task, and it scares me. And it's not like an inherently evil or bad thing to be tasked with doing, but I don't think it fits on the Respectful Memes Twitter page. Hi again, fellas, and today we're going to be looking at the Respectful Memes Twitter page, specifically because I know you guys are used to doom scrolling. We cover like a lot of negative stuff on this channel, and I try to put like a comedic spin on it, but I decided for once maybe we should just look at some stuff that is like completely inconsequential. Like, let's try and look at stuff that's like insulated from the dread that the wider world gives us. It's not going to be 100% working all the time, but it's going to try to be considerate of you as an individual, at least. If you enjoy this video, this card at the end will take you to another one like that. And did you know only 20% of y'all are subscribed with notifications on? If you sub and hit that bell icon, you'll never miss an upload, and you can always undo it later. Anyways, let's see what else this Twitter account has to offer, like I didn't already curate these ahead of time. Guys, I just imagined dragons! Ugh! This is not what I wanted to start this video with. I feel disrespected by having this thought put in my head, man. Like, now I'm imagining dragons. Chinese ones, European ones, African one? American dragons? I guess American dragons would literally just be imagined dragons. Not a big fan of that. Depending on which one I choose to actually include in the video, you may see this Hulk format show up again because it's pretty good as far as I'm concerned. It's almost like certain comic panels go farther as shitpost formats than they do as actual moments in the story the comic was telling. Here is a meme that perfectly illustrates the happiness that agency as a concept will give you. Not getting invited sucks. It makes you feel like you're on the outs with some of your friends, and it's like, damn, did they even want me here, or was it like an oversight? They just didn't think of it. And if they didn't think of me, like, what does that say about our relationship? Whereas getting invited and not going is the exact same outcome, but the option was presented to you. You know you're wanted. You simply will not reciprocate. I won't lie though, not getting invited is often a downstream effect of getting invited and not going a few too many times. People understand that, like, sometimes you have things going on, or like sometimes certain nights you just don't even want to leave the house. Your friends can understand that, but there is like a limit. If you always say that, like, I'm not gonna hang out with y'all, that at a certain point they're not gonna want to hang out with you either. But if you do this all the time, you're gonna find yourself in the position of the first slide. This is Self-Care Charizard. Reblog whenever you need a temporary release from whatever stresses you currently have. Does he have like a hot towel on his forehead, and is he sitting in a sauna while he has like the flame tail that if it goes out he dies? I don't know, it just feels all a little redundant, man. I don't know how respectful this whole thing is. The only other self-care we're seeing him do here is drinking from a straw out of a coconut. He could also be really excited to eat the cut-off Flygon wing that is just barely in the frame of the left image. Like, what are we even doing here, man? Everyone kept hitting their heads as they walked down my stairs, so I hung a sign as a warning. It's a picture of a duck. Honestly, I really like this because the warning is twofold. Like, it's literally telling you to duck, but also, in a practical sense, it draws your eyes upwards. Like, if you don't know, humans are not very used to looking vertically, whether that be up or down. That's why our field of vision is way wider than it is tall. But something eye-catching can act as like a buffer for that instinct. And you see the duck, you might literally think duck and be like, oh, I should probably crouch so I don't hit my head on this shit. It's pretty fucking smart, I'm not gonna lie, it's clever. The only change I might make is to literally put the word duck under the picture of the duck so that, like, nobody has an excuse to not realize what it's trying to communicate. There's not much anybody could have done for you. I finally found who spends all my money. Oh my god, it's the Roaring Knight. No way, it's my goddamn shadow. Shouldn't he be choking himself instead of choking the absence of light that shows up behind him? I don't know, man. It's not that it feels redundant. It feels like he's going after the complete wrong target. I feel like this joke might work if it was a mirror, or even like that one image of the dude who's like, don't trust anybody, not even yourself, and it's just a really bad Photoshop of a dude pointing a gun at his own back. But I understand the sentiment it's trying to communicate to me, and yeah, I guess I do spend all my own money. I want y'all to know know, when I was a little kid, I was obsessed with Spongebob so much, my native-ass grandma wove this rug for me. Dude, her proportions are like goddamn near perfect. The only issue I can see is that the top of Spongebob's head is a triangle instead of like a parallelogram. She forgot to include one point. Yes, I am going to critique this work of love. I understand it needs to be a lower detail version of the character because, you know, within the medium, you have to act within the constraints that you actually exist in. But I don't know, man. I feel like you could have done the cube a little better than this. I'm gonna give it like a 6, a 7 out of 10. It's above average, and I respect the craftsmanship within an art form that I physically could not even begin to approach. SpongeBob is not nearly as happy as he is in canon. His eyebrows are non-existent, his eyes are too small, his nose is not long enough. You should tell your native-ass grandma that she needs to go back to the drawing board. Am I racist for saying that? Because that's how this person referred to their grandma. I was simply going by the name they gave me. My lesbian farmer girlfriend, or as I like to call her, my crop top, ha 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 ha, is actually pretty good. I don't know why I'm being all like aloof about it, like I didn't enjoy that the first time I read it when I was curating these posts. It genuinely gets better too. My lesbian electrician girlfriend, or as I like to call her, my power bottom. I like that one more than the crop top because in both of these situations, it's implied that the poster's girlfriend is the dominant one. It doesn't matter if they're doing it from the top or the bottom, like you are always the one listening to them, which is exactly how I think we should treat all women, actually. I don't talk to women, I listen to them. Thank you for the best comment I've ever seen in my fucking life. Okay, you know, that was pretty common parlance on Tumblr to say, this is the best thing I've ever read. Relax, man. Maybe check out Dante's Inferno, or the Bible, or the lyrics to A Crow Looked at Me by Mount Erie. Canadian gangsters be taking it too far. Oh my god, they graffitied swear words on some concrete. How much you want to bet it was the people who actually owned that building who put it up and they just wanted it to look kind of hard, or even if they just thought it was funny? Honestly, if I ever own property, I might just spray paint some shit on the side as long as the HOA doesn't get on my ass, because I think it would be like a fun way to treat the building. I've seen people turn their houses into completely Fortnite-themed attractions in like millionaire neighborhoods. I don't really know how the power structure of the hierarchy works there. I'm just kind of going off what I've seen. Pool brick hydration is a full-time job. Okay, so I need to relay a story to y'all and ask if anybody else has had this. This has been on my mind for like the last 15 years and I really need to know. The community pool I used to go to as a kid had this one piece of concrete somewhere on like around the pool where like, yeah, it could get wet, but you know how concrete gets darker when you wet it? When you would wet this one patch of concrete, which I'm pretty sure was like a fill-in for a crack at some point in the past before I ever went to that pool, it remained the same hue. It didn't get dark the way that like most concrete or all the concrete around it did. And I never figured out what that was. And I could Google it and just find out, but I'd rather use it for engagement in the comments section. If you guys have ever had that or know the type of story I'm trying to communicate to you, please let me know. I felt incredibly lonely in this tale for a very long time. I had to take a piss test for a job I got hired at today, and this is the name of the fucking company that makes the test. iCup? Okay, there's no way that iCup didn't exist for at least the last century. ICUP has to be like a multi-generational phenomenon. I refuse to believe that it was just like millennials and younger who experienced that shit. This was definitely somebody who heard this bit as a kid, found himself in the position where he could actually name a company after something like that, and he's like, this would be such a good bit. Like, the eye is even meant to stand out in this goddamn logo. How often would you like to get updates about cheddar cheese? And our options are daily, which is what I would pick, weekly, which is what like my next door neighbor would pick, a few times a month, which is what a filthy casual would pick, a few times a year is what a poser would pick, never is someone who is honest about their dislike of cheddar cheese, and someone who owns stock in cheddar cheese picks only if something big happens. Like a really big wheel, or Katamari Damacy manages to like collect a bunch in one big homunculus mass. You gotta be selective about your choices, man. This shit is dangerous. Other is hourly updates. Hey, you guys. My friend just told me I have a stain on my shirt. Embarrassing. And he's put his finger on the shirt to indicate where it is. I'm gonna look down so I can assess the stain situation. How could he? How many times did y'all fall for this before you just like never trusted someone when they tell you you had a stain anywhere? But with this subject matter specifically, I think you have an ulterior motive, and I'm gonna be honest, most of the time, I've been right. I feel really bad for this Bubin guy who had to learn the hard way. At least the rest of us got to learn it before we got recorded and put on the internet. I bet jellyfish are sad that there are no peanut butter fish. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really think they feel those thoughts. They're probably just really chuffed about getting to be immortal depending on the breed. It is crazy to me that certain animals animals out there just do have the potential to live forever and like self-propagate to the end of time. Like sharks have been around longer than trees have. The ocean scares the shit out of me, and I've already made that thalassophobia video. Let me know in the comments if there are any other phobias, like major subreddits that really aggregate those type of posts that I should be taking a look at. I've done megalophobia and thalassophobia already, but I want more money, so give me more options. I'm obsessed with this look/hair, but I'm a male. And then someone suggests just get the Lord Farquaad cut if you really want. And the real advice is in the replies in this case, because people were actually giving examples of how this might work. This is like a buff Lord Farquaad that like almost makes it work. Then someone linked JoJo and it's like, this is how you rock bangs as a dude. I know it's hard to go into supercuts and tell the person cutting your hair that you want to use anime as a reference, but there's a chance they might also be into it. It's never been more mainstream accepted than it is now. And really, you're not going to get many better reference images than the one here. Maybe look for a cosplayer in a wig if you really want to choose an IRL version, but then you have to show them a cosplayer, which is like, is that much better or is it even worse? I'm going to let you decide and live with that thought in your head. People in ancient Rome ordering 5 beers. Get it? Because like the V means 5. I actually don't know how high in Roman numerals I can count. Like I know like the I's are 1, 2, and 3. You put the I before the V to say 4, and then the V is just 5. Then it's VI, VII, VII. You know what? I'm not even going to keep on with this because as much as I want to drag out the runtime, even I have standards, very small ones, but you know, a modicum of them. How many grams of protein are there in a beautiful evening spent laughing with friends? Like about 150 grams of protein. That said, the amount of protein in a night out spent with friends is often burned just as quickly by hanging out with those friends. That's why it's recommended that before a night out of drinking, you eat a gigantic Chipotle burrito. It's not because it makes you get drunk less quick, it's because you are going to lose so much weight just by hanging around your homies. Alright, last one. Is it okay to start over at the old age of 27? Until death removes you from this world, the reset button is forever pressable. And this is what I want y'all to take away from this video. No matter how bad the world gets or your circumstances do, as long as you persist, that is increasing the likelihood of you having a second chance. That might be rich coming from a YouTuber who like gets to talk shit like this on the internet for a living. I understand the perspective I'm coming from, but like I would like to say, you know, give it a shot before you give up. Anyways, that's all I got. That card I mentioned should be on screen now. If you enjoyed, be sure to drop a like and subscribe with notifications on. Anyways, this has been Kwite, and I'll see y'all next time.